Louis C.K. and Theo talked about their sex addictions on camera, and it's a beautiful example of vulnerability and courage. Their conversation got me thinking about the psychological defenses that we all carry. Our protections can look very different on the outside, but underneath they all serve the exact same function. And that's what I want to explore with you here today.
Oh, dude, yeah. Even things like, I was looking at pornography the other day, just being able to like text somebody and say that to them, just like, and then just like, how many times do I want to go back to this feeling of after I look at pornography, I just feel like empty, or I just don't feel like myself the next day. That's been the biggest thing that helped change it for me, is like noticing that like the next day I don't feel like myself. I feel like I'm a little scattered. I feel like I still need to recover from something. I still need to like put my aura back together a little bit.
Yeah, because you ran away into pornography. So when you feel, you get, it's like you froze yourself.
The first insight here is that our protections take us away from ourselves rather than towards ourselves. And this is very paradoxical, because an addictive behavior, or even just wanting to keep working on a project at work or whatever it might be, can seem very compelling in the moment. And yet when we really zoom out, we can see that it is actually causing us to disconnect from ourselves rather than connect with ourselves.
It's like you froze yourself.
Yeah.
And the next day you start to thaw, and that's uncomfortable. It's like feeling your leg coming back to, after falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's tingles, and it's bad. It's a bad feeling. You want to be in one or the other, So it's hard. The hard thing about being in recovery from addiction, something like what we have, is that you can look at something like pornography, but you're aware now, so you know
there's a cost to it.
Yeah, there's a cost, but thank God, because you get so much of life back, and being able to tell another guy like I'm doing this, because there's a lot of shame involved with sex and love addiction, like all this kind of thing. When you tell somebody I'm an alcoholic, people have a lot of sympathy for that.
Yeah,
but this one's a little tougher, so you really need the group, because these are a bunch of guys who get it, and so when you tell them, I'm struggling not to do this, the genius of that is just that someone else knows it now. That's all.
Louis makes a good point here that socially there are different levels of acceptance around different kinds of dissociative behaviors. So workaholism is very celebrated in our culture, and if you do it well, it's often very well rewarded. Alcoholism, less respected. And then if you go to something like sex addiction, that would be something that you probably can't even talk about in casual company in many social circles. So Louis makes a really good point here that there is a real need to feel held and supported in whatever kind of protection mechanism that you have. So in that way, protections do seem very different in terms of their social acceptance. But as I'll get to soon in this video, they are all fundamentally about the same thing at the same time.
It's too much for you to carry. At some point, for anybody who's an addict or not, life got to be too much to handle. It just was overwhelming. So you found a way to shift away from it. And thank God you did. Like, thank God I had that when I was a kid. I don't think I could have handled life without this thing that was right there to soothe me.
This is so wise. What they really are is protections for something else, for something that is more core and vulnerable within us. So we need these protections when we have them, and this is why you can't just go and kind of try to get rid of the symptom, so to speak. You have a substance issue, let's just take away the substance and then problem solved. Well, no, the substance is serving a function. The psyche is a homeostatic system, and that dissociative, protective, whatever mechanism is serving some kind of function.
I would look at pornography and stuff like that because it was a way to make myself feel good. It was like I felt so horrible, And I didn't even know I felt so horrible about myself. I just felt like a fucking cavern, I felt like, I felt like I didn't even want to impose myself on people because I don't know. Nobody had time for me, right? And so it made me think that I wasn't worth people's time. Yeah. So I always just felt like I just couldn't say what I needed to say. I just didn't want to waste your time.
So this is impressive that Theo has this level of emotional self-awareness. This is what his protection came in to help him with, was this terrible, empty feeling of not being wanted, not wanting to take up space. And this is extremely common, this kind of feeling. Not that everybody has the exact same kind of feelings, but it's extremely common to find something like this. I'm not loved, I'm not wanted, I can't take up space, even fundamentally, I can't exist, I shouldn't exist. So often it comes down to that really core wound of not feeling truly welcomed into the world, or as Mr. Rogers would say, loved into existence.
I didn't want to waste your
remember
time
that feeling.
because you would see that I was a waste of, like,
Yeah.
if I could just,
How old were you?
probably 10, 11.
I mean, imagine a 10-year-old kid. Like, look at a 10-year-old kid's face and imagine that he feels like a cavern inside. That's a hard thing to carry.
One thing that is very powerful in my work is helping clients to move towards that kind of understanding. I probably should have said I'm a psychotherapist and coach at the beginning. I think I forgot to do that. Anyway, to help clients to move towards that kind of empathy for themselves. Often they haven't really developed a relationship with their younger version of themselves, of what they really went through, and often will have a lot of judgments or a kind of dismissive attitude of that period of their lives. Like, oh yeah, it was fine. Yeah, my parents weren't great, but whatever. So it can be very powerful to be like, look at a picture of when you were 10 years old. You were going through a lot. Look at that little brain trying to process so much, like all these big feelings. I mean, imagine being 10 years old or 5 years old or 6 months old and feeling like you just have this cavern of emptiness in your soul. What a unbelievably overwhelming thing to go through. Like, terrible. And this could, in many cases, properly be called a trauma from neglect.
And so you take on this thing that helps you just simplify life.
right.
I do this. I search, I push, I get to ecstasy. I'm calm.
Right. It's
And then-
it's homeostasis. It regulates me.
It's just regulating.
Right.
And if you're exposed to sex early in life, which I was, in a way that was, that's it. That's what you got.
This is perfect too, because what Louis is talking about is the kind of historical arbitrariness of the kinds of protections that we all develop. So for Louis, I don't know what it was, but something happened, and that became his adaptation. That was what he built his defense around. For somebody like me, it was different. I don't think I'm going to share too much, at least not in a monologue video here, but having what I think was a somewhat healthy addiction, and served much more than just an addiction, but a real fixation on body movement, on flow, on being outside. I was a professional level athlete, and this is what helped me to come back into something that felt good in my body, as opposed to the relational environment, which was not feeling good, to say the least. So how we find our protections is very much related to kind of what we bump into as kids. And I was very fortunate in a way that at least one of my outlets was beautiful body movement with people that I really loved spending time with and had a lot of respect for. But then some of my other protections, like going into my head, ruminating, anxiety, those kind of protections are not so good for me, and can, just really make me not feel good, essentially. So it's interesting, just the different kinds of protections that we developed, really just based on what our experience was like when we were younger.
And then later in life, when your feelings are supposed to be developing, they're still under this muffled thing. So they're not developing properly, and you're ashamed of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So well said. What we need is to have an opportunity to go through the emotional developmental process that we did not get to go through more fully when we were younger. And again, I have to emphasize, everybody has a version of this. Nobody has had perfect parents. Of course, there's more extremes, like extreme versions of neglect or abuse as a child. But very normal people with great parents and whatever, their parents are still going to have had limits. They're still going to have developed some defenses around their parents' dissociation, ambivalence, disdain even that wasn't maybe spoken in the household but was felt, or whatever it might be. So the point is that we all have these protections and they all serve the same function. And the way out of it is to develop a relationship with that which we dissociated from. It's really that simple, even though it's incredibly complex and hard in practice, but the idea of it is very simple.
The thing about a fellowship, it's just so simple. It's not God. It's not something that's better than you. It's a bunch of guys who just have the same problem. And you're able to just go, I'm having this problem. They go, yeah, I get it. They don't give you a solution. They just go, I know it too now. And you go like, now I got two souls to carry this problem. And I'm there for him when he needs that.
Yeah.
And that just makes it a tiny bit easier.
This is important as well because so often these primary wounds that we have as children come with very early belief systems like I'm bad, I'm broken, I'm messed up, maybe even I'm unsalvageable, nobody wants me, I can't take up space, etc. Some of the things that I said earlier. And it's really, really important to have a new relational experience where you are held while you are feeling those wounds. Oh, this is part of my wholeness, is this stuff that's been bubbling underneath. And wow, even other people have had this experience too. That means I'm not the only one this fucked up. This is extremely important because that starts to dissolve some of those really early and extremely isolating belief systems that say, oh, I must be the only one on the planet that's like this. I'm so messed up and I'm so broken. And so therefore I need to hide all of this because if anybody finds out how messed up and broken I am, they're going to totally reject me.
So that you can go to the alternative, which is, why do I do this thing? It's because I feel like a cavern. And the detaching from the behavior and stopping the thing I couldn't stop doing gave me the opportunity to go, what's in that cave? What's in that? Is there something in that that's worthwhile? Is it, how bad is it? What's wrong with the cave? Is it that I'm alone in there? Am I alone in there? It gave me the courage to sit in the cave alone and take a look around and go like, with a little flashlight, man, there's like crystals on the roof. It's fucking cool in here. How'd I get in here? There's a little door. Where does that go? And starting to really be okay with, I'm just here.
I'm in here.
And then a feeling comes, that the kind of things I used to run from, like deep sadness. I miss my mom, something like that. I want to just have it. I just want to have it now. I just want to have it.
This is brilliant. I love Louis C.K.'s incredibly creative imagination. The images that he is offering here are some of the best images I have ever encountered that can help us to understand really the entire journey for many people in life around moving out of these protections. That's what we have to do. We have to go into it. As they say, the only way out is through. And you have to start to look around. This thing that has been banished, these early experiences, these early states, these early versions of ourselves that just get totally cast out. And so we may have spent our whole lives just being like, whatever that is, no way, that is a catastrophe. That cannot be part of me. There's no way I could ever possibly let that in. I would die, everybody would hate me, my life would be over, etc. And yet, once you have the courage, as Louis is talking about, to start to look at some of those things, you start to make some discoveries. You might not have known, for example, that your whole life when you were drinking, there were feelings, just feelings underneath that. All those panic attacks were just feelings that you were having. And so when you really slow down and start to look at it, you're going to find, yeah, there's a lot of pain in there, but as Louis so brilliantly points out, but there's like some crystals on the walls too. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty beautiful. And what you find is that encased in this somatic tomb, let's say, is also some of your best parts, the beautiful energy that you have, your inspirations, your passions, your gifts to the world, your playfulness, your ability to love and receive love and have empathy and receive empathy and all of that. All of that gets locked up into the same bundle. And so often the gateway to pass through is you have to experience some of the pain that's been locked away, that's been frozen in place. But as that melts, you discover that there's a lot more there. And that's when an incredible and unimaginable, truly unimaginable process of reconnecting to self can start to occur. But you have to have the courage to be like, I don't even know what's on the other side of that, but I can't live like this anymore, with this protection, with this anxiety, this workaholism, this sex addiction, cheating on my partner, doom scrolling, whatever it is. Anything that's a protection has more or less this pathway to move through it.
And I've got a new habit, which is that when I get that, that used to lead to an addictive moment. When I get that, I know that if I pull away from it, it gets worse. It actually only hurts if I pull away. But if I get up to it and I go, what do you got? And I see colors and I see beautiful things, you know? And that's the potential, is to welcome every feeling. And then you don't want out. And I love my life so much now.
Okay, enough superlatives, but seriously, best thing ever. Okay, so what I love about this is that what Louis is saying is that there is a subtle learning and retraining that is available here, which is that whatever your protection is, and again, everybody has them, and they can even look very healthy, like I'm going to go work more on my project or something like that, right? Whatever your protection is, at some subtle level, there's a flavor attached to it, a quality of experience of like, but this is actually just taking me away from myself. And what we discover through doing this, myself included, everybody has to do this work, or everybody can do this work if they want to. I think everybody probably should, but it's my own opinion. What we find is that when we turn back towards ourselves, when we befriend ourselves rather than running off into the dissociations, it is like falling in love almost, in terms of just like the richness and like, oh, I don't have to run from myself. All that tension, that's so painful, that kind of numbness or the emptiness or whatever the feelings are for you in that place. Oh, no, it feels like this. It's warm. It's cozy. Even if it's sadness, even if it's grief, it's my sadness. It's my grief. It's my real life. We are all fundamentally whole. And I mean this in the most radical way imaginable. We are all fundamentally whole. What is within us is not a mistake. It's not broken. It might be confused. It might cause us suffering. It might make really bad choices. But when we really get down to the deep levels, there is a wholeness and a wisdom that is, again, unimaginably nourishing. There's so much more to say about this podcast and their interactions, but I don't want this video to be too long. I would encourage you to go and watch the entire podcast and also their past podcasts together, because they are brilliant. I think that they show what the dance of relationship can potentially look like. They weave through vulnerability and humor and Theo's unbelievable non sequiturs. I don't even know where he gets this stuff from. These ridiculous stories from his childhood. Like, I don't even know if any of this stuff happened. It's so ridiculous. It's hilarious. It's open-hearted. This is what the art of relationship can look like. I just have so much love for both of these guys in a way that I rarely do for people that I've never met in real life. If you want to learn more about how to do personal growth better, please subscribe to my channel. If you can help me out and maybe share or repost in some other platforms, I'd really appreciate that if you're getting some value from this. So that's all. Thanks for listening.